destructive people on the planet, and everything they do is to destroy and mutilate and vandalize the genetic code of the biospheres on this planet while creating red herring environmental problems that just give them total control over all life on the planet, like carbon taxes. Hawking is honest when he says we need to get off the planet, we're going to kill this one. The safest thing to do is to launch space colonies. The safest thing to do is colonize the moon and Mars. The safest thing to do is to create diversity of human ecosystems and terraform nearby planets. Plus, that is the classic human activity, is exploration, is discovery. We are at an embryonic phase. I hope we don't abort our species before we actually get out of the womb. We should love our mother. We should take care of the earth, but we should realize that we must transcend the technocracy that is attempting to play God if we're going to make it to the next level. Stephen Hawking wanted to be safe when he said 1,000 years. I'll guarantee you if he was probed deeper, he would agree it's more like 50. And it's not just people like Stephen Hawking. Apple co-founder on artificial intelligence said the future is very scary and very bad for people. And he goes on to talk about how AI is being designed from the beginning to not be designed for people. Now, that's what Wozniak is saying. And basically, they're warning you out of guilt because the decision has already been made to remove humans out of the equation. They already believe we're pathetic and a joke, and the elite have said openly they plan to merge with machines and go to the next level. If they had even begun to go to the next level, they would understand they can never cull the mass of humanity and dumb us down to keep us in the dark, to control us, and that they would ever then ascend to the next level of human development in God's plan. It is total folly. Just look at the news today. 2,000 times normal radiation found in Tokyo playground. Officials deny any link to Fukushima. That's in mainstream Japanese news and the South China Morning Post. 2,000 plus times, a deadly dose, and they're saying it's no issue. Ukraine marked today 29 years since the Chernobyl disaster. The UN estimates over 1 million people died from cancer from that one event, and it was much, much smaller in the amount of radiation it put out than Fukushima. That's from AFP. Why doesn't the elite care now? In the past, they cared when reactors melted down. They took precautionary actions. They had people not eat local produce for years after these events. Now they just say everything's fine because a sickness has entered our minds where we've written off humanity. We've decided it's all over. Humans, when they're barely surviving, struggle to survive, struggle to have the next generation make it. Prosperity makes monsters. Adversity makes men, to quote Victor Hugo. But it is in these times of decadence, like ancient Rome in its decline, that people get a death wish because they haven't actually experienced it. So many of these anti-humanists that say we should all die are the first to tell you they're scared to die and will never kill themselves. These are weak, powerless people who fantasize about control over others because to them it's an unknown country. I want to close with something I've covered many, many, many times, and that is a report from back in 1999 by Bill Joy. He wrote a story titled, "Why the Future Doesn't Need Us." And in that report, he admitted that he met with over 200 world leaders in technology, and the debate was held on whether they should just give us toys and video games and fantasy lands to play in, or whether we should just be exterminated. And most of the scientists said, well, we should just get rid of the general population because, after all, they don't really have a destiny. They're not people to begin with. And then this article is published and gets almost no attention. These are the huge, giant, mega massive, colossal, over-the-top epic issues that we deal with. And I'm just simply here trying to get the general public to understand if World War II killed over 100 million people, What will the next war be fought with? How many people will it kill? When you got the Hadron Collider and you've got all these record levels of tectonic activity and volcanoes and asteroids, what is, I ask you, the number one threat to humanity? And despite all of those threats, we've reached a point that if we made preparations now for asteroid defense and to study the tectonics and have predictive systems, and if we launched a program now to build space-based platforms and to begin colonizing space, and if we began to be open with the public about the true mysteries of the world and to give people a love of life and information again, we could turn the tide. It's up to you, though. We will destroy ourselves very, very soon, and I'm just sad. I have all the different ancestral instincts and memories of my ancestors. I have children. I want to have grandchildren. I want their children and grandchildren to be terraformers on other planets. I want to build a world and a universe for humans, and us working in conjunction with other species from our planet to empower not just ourselves, but other life forms. That just seems like such a common sense goal. And instead, we're going in the opposite direction. They're not talking about space-based flight for man. They're talking about drones and computers. They're telling us we're old hat. Driverless cars, smart meters controlling our houses. But you notice it's not really machines that are going to run our lives. It's humans playing God through automated machines, through the smart grid, that are actually taking our humanity. The author wrote in the script for They Live that they live, the ruling class, we sleep. No, they live and we die. But in the process of killing our souls and our creativity, the elite themselves commit suicide as well. And they better remember that galactic rule of what comes around goes around. That's it for this special breakdown. Now it's up to you in the comments below to give me your take on this. More videos on this subject coming in the future, because the questions of what is the ultimate threat to humanity is looking us in the mirror. We are the hope of humanity. We are the peril of humanity. And it's up to us to realize that. God bless you all.
DNA force.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in.
DNA force.
No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies.
DNA force.
We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
DNA force.
You are watching the InfoWars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.